They looked like they were fine. Discussing game plan before the game. Andre Rison, disciplinary reasons, sat out for a little bit more in the first quarter. Falcons lead at 3-0. Roger Harper, the star back in that 4-2-5, crunches Haas, and the Falcons recover. 1st and 20 after a penalty. Ironhead. Craig Hayward finds the hole, and 11-yard leads to Ironhead. From the 1-yard line, he's in, and the Falcons lead it 10-0. And you can see the yards in the first quarter for June Jones and the Falcons. They dominated the Raiders. In the second quarter, 1st and 10 to 23, Haas. Tim Brown quite vocal in supporting the Haas. They run the plays we should be running. Well, one of them is the pass to Tim Brown. Another one is the long neck, Harvey Williams. Into the end zone. Williams, a first start touchdown, 10-7 Falcons. James traps Jeff George. Nobody touched him, Tom.
Yeah, James Trapp, spot shadowed here on the left. He's up on the line of scrimmage. Comes to the outside, nobody to block him. Jeff George pays the price for it.
On the same drive, Harold Alexander punting, and Albert Lewis. Nobody does it better than Albert Lewis. We saw him do it so many times with the Chiefs. The Raiders recover on the special team turnover.
Yeah, and blocking punts many times is beating your man one-on-one. Here, Albert Lewis lined up to the left. Just too much speed to the outside, gets around the corner.
12th time he's done it in his career, Tom, and that sets up Haas to Tim Brown. Touchdown, 20 yards. The Raiders lead 14-10 in the second quarter. Just flip it over. 109-9 Raiders, and they lead at the half by 4. Then Haas to Tim Brown again. Look at the pass. Pretty move by Brown. A good block downfield. It's 21-10. The flags are on Atlanta. Haas and Brown feeling good. Vinnie Clark and Tim Brown not feeling good, but it's not quite the Rison-Dion welterweight fight. But it's a touchdown. George to Andre Rison. First catch of the game, 1:37 left in the third. Part of the reason he sat out, but part of the reason the Raiders is a good defensive back. 4th down call, it pays off. Jeff George to Terrence Mathis. The diminutive one. 21-17, the Raiders. Harvey Williams, though, good solid run. Looks like he's earned that starting job up the middle. Harvey Williams, a career-high 107 yards on 27 carries. Raiders get a couple of field goals from Jeff McJagermeister, and Jeff George, last shot. Lionel Washington intercepts. The big news here, what? The Raiders defense for the first time in 6 weeks didn't score a touchdown, but the Raiders defense really shut down the outside receivers as we surmised on game day. So good matchup for their defense, and the Raiders, they know that San Diego lost. Now they're at 3-3. Comes back, the chorus of boos from the crowd of 47,000 plus. Yeah, crybaby, Jeff, we hope you lose, but he had other ideas because he had Napoleon Kaufman. Look at him make the move, and he could go all the way, 61 yards.
Yeah, and look at the quickness and the strength. It's a combination of low center of gravity, makes him a very exclusive back, one of the 3 or 4 in this league.
14-10, the Falcons in the third quarter. George to James Jett, and look at him go. Jett! It's Paul McCartney in wings. 17-14, the Raiders take the lead, and then look at the play he makes. But Atlanta had some big plays coming. Byron Hanspard takes the handoff, goes to the outside, moves to the inside. Look at him go. Could go all the way to the 3-yard line. And the next play, though, it's Chris Chandler. Play action to Bob's sister, Christian. Touchdown. Falcons lead 21-17. Raiders punt. Todd Heaton, the Kinchin for the Falcons. Gets nailed. It's a fumble. Kenny Shed first sheds him of the ball, and then the Falcons stand around, and it's a touchdown. 24-21. Dan Reeves says, you have to be kidding me.
Well, I think Dan had a good argument. If you watch here, you see him hit the ground right there. The ball pops out. The ground cannot cause a fumble, and Dan saw it clearly.
Well, obviously a key play in the game, and Dan hot under the collar. A very scary moment for the Falcons. Ren Bolden. Watch the spot shadow. He collides with Tim Hall on a kickoff return, and Bolden remained down. Carted off, but the good news is x-rays remained negative. He was walking in the locker room after the game, even though he had a back injury, so that's good news. Bad news for the Falcons. Napoleon Kaufman outside, and 4 Falcons, none of them are going to lay a hand on him. Touchdown, 31-24. There it is. 140 yards for Napoleon Kaufman. Chris Chandler, late hit from Darrell Russell, the #1 pick. He leaves the game with a bruised sternum, doubtful for next week. It was a late hit. Fourth quarter with the score 31-24. Billy Joe Tolliver. Billy Joe tries to be a hero. Bert Emanuel fumbles but keeps it. Then Tolliver to Terrence, 12th of Never Mathis. And chances are we're tied at 31. 1st and 10, the Raiders from their own 8. big play here. George to Ricky Dudley. Not only does he hold on, he makes the move at the 40. He's in a Falcon territory, rumbling, bumbling, and bowling over the Falcons. 77 yards, leads to a field goal, 34-31. Now, Tom, this is Billy Joe Tom. What? It's a safety. Are you kidding?
Have to know where you are on the football field. That's the first thing you have to know as a quarterback.
36-31. Now, some Morton Anderson doesn't help. And then there's a sack by Anthony Smith. And Jeff George in a, he took an entire victory lap around